Okay, hello and welcome everyone to another online World Cup game, but this time between Hungapore, which is a combination of Hungary and Singapore, versus Spain, and we have Dragon versus Unicorn. The Spain player is playing Unicorn, and the Hungaporean player is playing Dragon. The Dragon deck is quite interesting. It runs pretty Shugenya heavy and runs Phoenix Splash against the waves, All or Nothing, Shrine Maidens. The restricted list card is Void Fist. And the Unicorn deck is pretty standard in a way, with Lion Splash, Strengthening Numbers, Ready for Battle, Hand to Hand. Ooh, I don't really like this card because it's usually never online, but it could have good effect against some clans. Yeah, this is pretty standard Unicorn. Endless Plane is a bit spicy though. If the Dragon player isn't careful with the Finger of Jade or such, he could run into that and have a bad time. Yeah, I'll just let them know I'm ready. And this is a big game because I think if you look at the standings, oh, this is not updated. I think it's actually 3-2 to Hungapore, so they just need to win one more to clinch this. Okay, we should be seeing the game start shortly. I'm just gonna have a quick peek again at the Unicorn players deck list. So some interesting stuff here is Appealing to the Fortunes is a pretty aggressive province. You just don't defend and gain a guy brought in from your dynasty side. Endless Plane is pretty aggressive as well because that's another province you don't defend. And I'm guessing Midnight Revels is actually on the Stronghold. There's also a Seeker of Water build, so it doesn't run the Keepers, which could have... It doesn't run the Keepers and it doesn't run Defend Your Honor, which could have impact here on the game. Right, and we're actually into the game right now. Did I miss Kick You in one of the decks? No, no one is on Scorpion Splash. What? It's just a weird statement there from Hato. I guess he just loves Kick You. So this is very much going to come down to, is the Dragon player going to find his big Shigenyas, and is he going to find against the ways to keep them standing when the Unicorn player does all kinds of bad things to him? We see both players mulligan 2 from the Dynasty deck. Nothing too spicy there. Usually a mulligan of 4 sometimes means you drew absolute garbage and just need to find something that's not garbage quickly. Ooh, hang on. That's actually a bit interesting. The Unicorn player is on 41-41 in both of his decks. That's a bit spicy. Finds a pretty solid start for the Unicorn player. 2 very cheap low casters, 1 really good charge target, and a really good target for next turn to start locking down conflicts. And the Dragon player does find Kudaka, which is a big enough Shigenya to use against the Waves on, especially if she's souped up with attachments. But Raitsugu is so tempting here as well to deal with the weenies. And I guess that Akuma also sees this. He doesn't want to run his weenies into Raitsugu, so he buys Tetsuku. And then the Unicorn player passes for Fate, and the Raitsugu gets duped. So basically exactly the same board state for both players. both has a 3 fated, 3 cost character, and 2 fate in the bank. The Unicorn player does have first attack though. Is there any sort of province he really needs to watch out for? Okay, so the Dragon player still plays both Upholding Authority and Restorations of Balance, and Pilgrimage and Shameful Display are rough provinces to hit. But the Unicorn player does run a bunch of the Ambushers, so Ambushers could easily just ruin the day here. And we do see a Finger of Jade gets very fast. It's put on the Retsugo very fast. Because if there is going to be any sort of shenanigans, strengthening numbers, or indeed if he wants to ever make an attack with his Retsugo and he's really afraid of hitting Endless Plains, this is a good start for the Dragon player. He might not defend this conflict just because of it. Oh, but he runs into Shameful. Alright, so that means we're gonna see a defense, because that's a very free way of getting honored and dishonored status tokens and switching the skill up a little bit. So currently Retsugo is a 4 against Tetsuga's 3, but we very quickly see a curved blade. That means the Tetsuga is now up on skill versus the Retsugo. So probably no dueling here. Oh, and the SorryKidO passes. Are we going to see a second curved blade? This is a very large Tetsuko at this point. 8-4, currently breaking, but he needs another character in order to trigger a stronghold. And he doesn't have it, it looks like. Spoils of War gets used. Gets to draw 3 cards, always very nice. It's basically going to come down to if the Dragon player here has found a conflict character to do anything with. Okay, Ready for Battle gets discarded. That's pretty smart. There's not much that the Dragon player has that bows guys on the Unicorn player side, except Void Fist, but Void Fist also pushes them out, so that's a whole other issue on its own. And we do see a conflict character here from the Dragon player, Ancient Master, so he's safe to poke up a province here. He's not afraid of finding, for instance, Endless Plains, and he's going for water. He wants to stand his Retsugo up. Seems like a solid bet. And he goes for political onto the province with Minamikaze regulars, because if he breaks this, there's no charging regulars coming in this turn. So now what are we going to see? Are we going to see a fan or perhaps a Kitsugi's method on this Ancient Master in order to break? His hand size is quite small at this point. He's down to 6 cards. So maybe not the worst. No, he's just going to take the win, ping an honor for unopposed, and stand Retsugo back up. Pretty smart. Are we going to see a conflict character here from the Unicorn player? I think if you have a conflict character here, perhaps a Wayfinder. No conflict character, alright, so Retsugo just gets to waltz in and destroy a province. Intriguing. Does he go for Void or does he go for Air? I think you Void here as the Retsugo. Try and remove this super large Tetsuka as quickly as possible. Yes. Yes, it does. And that's a clear sign that Endless Plane is not often played by people. Not just because that Finger of Jade protects against it, but also because people that are good at the game and have played a lot still aren't quite sure exactly how Endless Planes works. Alright, but this does mean that Akuma gets to use Secret Water. And does he not want to trigger Endless Planes here? That could be a really interesting thing. Not trigger Endless Planes and perhaps charge a Minamikaze regulars to win on defense?
Scare me. Oh boy.
Thank you for following Jitomi6. And we don't see Endless Plane trigger here. We see instead of Minamikaze regulars charge in on defense. So currently he's winning this conflict on defense. And if he gets to... Yeah, he needs... In order to trigger Minamikaze regulars or the Stronghold, he needs one more guy in this conflict. It could be done with a conflict character, but... if he has the ambushers in hand only, that's hugely impactful and maybe should be saved. And if he just plays something like a Wayfinder, that's a bit rough. And here we do see the Unicorn player does claim the favor. The Finger of Jade is still on the Retsugu, so I'm guessing the Unicorn player is hoping to at some point use a hand-to-hand to force that off him. Endless Planes is still alive, but it is now flipped, so it's pretty easy to just go into it at some point when you know it's safe. I'm guessing the Mia Mystic is going to get kept here to get rid of the Curved Blade. That's always a pretty decent thing. Oh, Youth gets discarded. I always find Youth to be a super solid one-coster. Oh, Double Mystic and a Tranquil Philosopher. Interesting. I think from the Dragon player we might see Initiate Double Mystic, or at least Mystic Initiate. Perhaps even just a Mystic if he feels he can tower his Retsugu for largely enough, like just make him big enough. From the Unicorn player, I'm guessing we're going to see both Border Rider, Trailblazer, and Shadow of the Plains. Does the Dragon player run Assassinate? I don't think so. I'm going to take a quick peek at the deck list because I can't remember. No Assassination, so Border Rider is not a bad thing here, but he does run Cloud and Mind, so with the Mia Mystic in play, he does have a Shugenya, so he could easily cloud the Border Rider. And we do see a very interesting take here from the Unicorn player. He, from what I saw of his deck, especially the Province row, it seems to be a super aggressive deck, but he's playing it more mid-range style, actually fating a bunch of his characters. And here we do see the Tranquil Philosopher trigger, gaining him an honor and moving over to the firing. It's always nice. He gets to grab 2 fate off the rings. Other card in Unicorn discard is Ready for Battle, that was pitched to the Spoils of War, and then a charge that was used. I'm guessing we're probably going to see an attack by the Mia Mystic, potentially political onto Endless Planes with the firing. Oh, it seems like SorryKidO has some connection issues, but I think that's a decent enough thing to do here as the Dragon player. Attack... Oh, wait, do you... If he wants to trigger endless planes to kill off the Mystic, I think you're okay with that. You just want to soak up the fate of the ring. Maybe go for another province. Upholding Authority is also fine. Yeah. Mere Mystic onto Upholding Authority. He really wants to use the Mystic to discard one of the curved blades. And makes a lot of sense. So, Upholding Authority and instant pass from the Unicorn player. Ah, that's a very good point actually. Youth could have been pitched to just round out for a good cavalry reserves. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the Dynasty side, the Minami Castle regulars are in here. So, yeah, a nice round number 6 for cavalry reserves is indeed a thing. Oh, and we see both the Mystic and the Let Go used here. So Tetsuko is very much lessened in skill here. He only has 2 skill right now. Down from, let's see, 2, 5, 8. So he had 8, now she's 2. Good targets all around, and we do see a Seal of the Dragon go down first here on Raitsugu, so perhaps we'll see some monk shenanigans. Firing is smartly used to honor the Tranquil Philosopher. He's now a 4-4, decently sized. We go for, so the Unicorn player seems to be going for a Void Ring here. Onto an unknown province. Let's see. That's Restorations of Balance. And he has exactly 3 skill, but it is quite likely that he has an Ambusher in hand, which will just negate the province completely. I'm guessing he's going to try and just be up on skill enough to break with Tetsuko before he drops the Ambusher. An Ambusher would then just be used to blank the province and perhaps eat the Raitsugu duel. Yeah, if he wants to eat the Raitsugu duel, he needs to actually fate it because he wants to use the Stronghold, I believe. Alright, so Dragon's Stronghold gets used to pump up Raitsugu. He's getting ready to duel this poor Tetsuko. Currently, Raitsugu is on 6 skill against 2 for Tetsuko. That's an easy win. And we do see another curved blades attack to Tetsuko. So Raitsugu is actually still up by 1 here because of the favor on the Unicorn player side. But it does make it slightly more awkward for Raitsugu because how do you bid now? Do you just slam the 5 bid? But what if the Unicorn bids 1? But do you bid 1? But what if the Unicorn then bids 5? Then you lose Fate of Raitsugu, and that you don't want to happen. And he is on the Phoenix Splash, so he's not going to be able to put down reprieves to say, oh, we see a Hurricane Punch. That costs 1 in this situation because of Tetsuko. But he is now up again in skill. We're going to see a Banzai from the Unicorn player here. Are we going to see a Banzai here? This Raitsugu is very large right now. If you have something like, 2 cost. Ambusher. Alright, Ambusher drops in. So, with a Fate. So, the Ambusher can eat the Raitsugu duel. I'm thinking he actually is baiting the duel at this point. He wants the duel to be used now. He could potentially have a cav reserve still waiting to come in. And the dragon player is on Secret Void, so no defend your honor here. Alright, so Daimyo's Gunbai. Mirumoto Retsugu versus Tetsuko. Surely you just bid 1 here. Yeah, both players bid 1. It goes on Retsugu. Retsugu is big. Very big. And this is actually pretty smart, because this doesn't use a fate to do, and it forces the Unicorn player to do something extra here. If the Unicorn player passes, the Dragon player is perfectly happy to just pass as well. And we do see a hand-to-hand come down, so this is going to probably be an opportunity to discard the Curved Blade. I don't think you're so scared of whatever he's going to discard next from you. I think it's probably worth it. Yeah. We do see the hand-to-hand gets used to discard the Curved Blade. And now, of course, the Unicorn player has to use it again. And oh, he discards the Gunbai, so he actually leaves the Finger of Jade on Retsugu. This sort of indicates that he doesn't have a strength in numbers in his hand right now. But it does suck for the Unicorn player to have lost all 3 Curved Blades. That's a bit rough. Now he's basically going to have to rely on cav reserves to have enough conflict pumps. Oh, and this is insidious. He still hasn't used the Retsugu duel. If he uses cav reserves here, he can quite easily kill off something. This Retsugu, you have to remember, is pretty big at this point, because he has a Hurricane Punch and a Stronghold used on him. So he's on 8. So he can actually kill off a Minamikaze regulars here if that comes in. This makes it super awkward for the Unicorn player. What do you do? Ah, and he does play the cav reserves, so we are going to see Retsugu duel the regulars here, I believe. Yeah. And what do you do here as the Unicorn player? Do you bid 1? Do you bid 2? Do you bid 3? 8 to 6. I think you bid 3 here as the Unicorn player. The Unicorn player does not. The Unicorn player chooses to bid 1 and instead takes 3 honor of the Dragon player. Alright, so here we do see Banzai go down to pump Tetsuko. Tetsuko is not big enough to not eat a Void Fist right here. He is not big enough to not eat a Void Fist. I think if the Dragon player has Void Fist, I think he Void Fists. Does this count as playing a card? I don't know. Help me out, chat. Does using the action of Gunbai actually count as playing a card for the sake of Void Fist? I know it doesn't count for... Alright, so it is because it's put into play. Okay. And we see a pretty decent conflict here from the Unicorn player. Sure, he had to use the cav reserves, but he did get to win. He did get to use his Stronghold, and he did get to use to remove a fate from Retsugu here. Now 2 provinces is broken on the Dragon player side. Oh right! I forgot the hand-to-hand removed the Seal of the Dragon. Yes! Thanks for pointing that out. I completely blanked on that. I just assumed that once the Seal of the Dragon was down, that was just gonna be it. But of course, the hand-to-hand removed the Seal of the Dragon. There was no longer a monk in that conflict. Very valid point. Yeah, he had to have had a second seal and then Void Fist, and that would have cost him 2 fate. I would definitely have been reluctant to do that. And here we see a Tattooed Wanderer go down. Oh, it's going to be another Water Ring conflict. Okay, he's going to want to stand Raitsugu back up again. Yeah, here we go. Water. Do you defend this as the Dragon player and as the Unicorn player and force the Dragon player to at least spend a card? Because you don't want to deal with Raitsugu again. I mean, Raitsugu is a bloody nightmare at this point. And we do see the Trailblazer here defend, so Trailblazer is actually on 3 skill right now. There are some awkward provinces that Tetsuko could run in here. When I'm guessing it's going to be Tetsuko attacking again for the Unicorn player, but... Oh, and there's no card spent from the Dragon player. Either he doesn't have any military pumps in his hand, or he doesn't really care enough about this. But we are going to see Shitomi Encampment used here, I believe. There's no point not using... Yeah, okay, and we see Tetsuko. Will Tetsuko poke up a province here? The airing is basically meaningless at this point. You should definitely go Earth. Just hammer in some extra card advantage. If you find Upholding Authority, I think you're fine with that, especially if you have another ambusher in your hand. Pilgrimage is a bit of another story, but oh, and there we go. Pilgrimage, Seeker of Void gets to trigger, and now he needs a lot of skill to break it. Especially when this 4 strength Tranquil Philosopher stands from the other side. Whew. Ooh, interesting. So charge on the Border Rider. That means he's going to have the ability to do 1 more attack. That's pretty good. He might not win this conflict, but his Border Rider can just stand back up and come back in again. Is he going to try and pump this conflict? I mean, he could have Strength in Numbers. With Strength in Numbers, he and the card I was kinda bad-mouthing in the beginning shows that it has legs. Sometimes Press of Battle has legs. It bows out. The Tranquil Philosopher. The Dragon player is now looking at exactly breaking on Pilgrimage unless he spends more resources. But Tetsuko makes it so expensive. Oh, this is such an awkward situation for the Dragon player. If he wants to drop a conflict character, it's going to be with 0 fate, and that's going to expend all fate he has, and then he can't play any cards on it at all to pump it anymore. So if the Unicorn player just has a Katana or another Banzai or anything really, that is going to be a broken Pilgrimage either way. Oh, the Press of Battle. I've never used this card successfully. It's always been sitting in my hand doing nothing because of towers like Raitsugu standing up against me. It just hasn't been worth it for me, but right here it's a golden card. allowing him to break Pilgrimage. Oh, and Void Fist gets randomly discarded. That's going to be painful. That's one of the few outs that the Dragon player has against huge stronghold pushes. And the only monk standing is this one. Alright, so he doesn't go for a stronghold because he knows that the Tattooed Wanderer can just defend. So he goes for an air conflict onto Upholding Authority instead, just because I think he knows he can't break in this particular conflict. So he might as well just take the ring, make him lose an honor, or force him to play a card. Anything just to annoy him. Yeah. Daring doesn't really do much here, really, but it makes it annoying. So the Dragon player doesn't defend and then passes, so it's just he's gonna lose one from the post, and then the airing is gonna steal one more. And that's going to be it for this round. And Unicorn still has the favor, has a very decently sized board, and of course he doesn't attack the Stronghold provinces because next turn the Trailblazer will be able to trigger his ability and be quite large on this province. The Trailblazer cannot easily be dueled off because he still has a Fate. Oh sure, you can duel off the Ambusher, but then you have a whole host of other issues to deal with. Currently there's no big monk for the Dragon player. We've seen one Seal of the Dragon get discarded. Oh, this could be really troublesome for the Dragon player right here. I think you toss Shell of the Plains here. Yeah, you don't want it for the Stronghold push. Nergui and a Yurt. And no big monk for the Dragon player. You definitely buy Nergui here. Absolutely. One good thing for the Dragon player though is that he does find a Shugenya. So he can play Cloud and Mind should it be necessary. And we see Nergui bought with 2 Fate. We might not even see Tetsuko duped here. In fact, I don't think we're gonna see it. Oh, do you see Alchemist bought? That seems to indicate to me that there's a potential at least for a Cloud and Mind. There's probably gonna be a 5-5 bid, so a very decent chance that Cloud and Mind will be found. And we do actually see the Tetsuko dupe. Is he going to use Yurt now as well to perhaps flip something? Is he baiting the Dragon player into not playing anymore characters from his provinces? That's a pretty interesting strategy, honestly. You use this dupe and sort of like go to Dragon. Do you want an extra Fate? If you do, I'm gonna use this Yurt, and then maybe I find something that you can't deal with. And the Dragon player does pass here. He does pass for the Fate. Are we going to see Yurt popped? No, we don't see Yurt popped yet. So both players bid 5. Pretty much everyone saw coming. And we are going to see the Unicorn player have first attack. I imagine if the Dragon player doesn't put down a Seal of the Dragon, he's just gonna go all in. There's no dragon to there's no monk to trigger the Stronghold on. He uses Imperial Storehouse. Has he found something? Has he found the seal? He has found Cloud. Alright, but there's a very real chance that there's another hand-to-hand in the Unicorn player's hand. And using hand-to-hand as first action in the conflict just means the next Cloud of Mine will cost 2 if you have a second. Which is just awkward. Super awkward. Are we going to see a seal though? That's the big question. Seal of the Dragon here. An Ancestral Daisha goes down on Raitsugo. So dueling is definitely going to happen. No seal? Oh, finding no seal here should be... Oh, no seal, so the Strongheart is gonna do nothing! Oh wow, you just bring everything on, I guess... water? Alright, so that he can't drop a conflict character, go water back and ready something. Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe because he even has double strength in numbers to send Raitsugu home. Makes sense. And this is a military skill with 11 and defense is 13. And there's no money right now for cavalry reserves, but Yurt could be popped for money. And we see a Shrine Maiden. Shrine Maiden finds Hurricane Punch but discards Finger of Jade and let go. Huh. Are we going to see a hand-to-hand here? Getting rid of the Cloud of Mind. That would be super good. Alright, so Nergui sends Tranquil Philosopher home. It had to be Philosopher or Alchemist. Okay, that's fine. Do you find... Okay, so Hurricane Punch onto the Shrine Maiden. Shrine Maiden is decently big now. A 3 strength Shrine Maiden. Shrine Maiden knows how to punch people, I guess. Ooh, a favorable ground. That's perhaps not what he wanted to find. But he has options to bring in, potentially. He just needs to try and eject Raitsugu. In fact, if he just ejects Raitsugu with double strength in numbers, I think he wins. But that requires him to not have a second, or actually the third Finger of Jade, since there's one Finger of Jade in the discard. In fact, having it be that way, if he can eject Raitsugu and then bow him with the Water Ring, that would be pretty neat. Right, so Banzai goes on to Shinju Trailblazer and double Banzai on Trailblazer, so he's pretty big. He's for 8 strength Trailblazer. Still has access to cavalry reserves and stuff if necessary. Currently winning, but not breaking. Alright, and Master Alchemist honors herself, so currently the Dragon player is now winning the defense again. Is this going to be enough? Challenge on the fields. That's enough to break even, I think. Oh wow, that's huge. That's -5 skill. -5 skill means it goes down to 11. That's exactly breaking. Exactly breaking. Does the Dragon player has anything? Void Fist, another Katana, another Hurricane Punch. He can't duel off the Ambusher. But if he duels the Ambusher, I'm betting you we're gonna see a second Cavalry Reserves. He just wants the Dragon player here to just spend stuff, spend answers. If the duel gets used... Okay, so Void Fist does go down and sends down Tetsuko. But Censure cancels the Void Fist. Oh boy! We're cooking on gas now. Another challenge on the field to send the Shrine Maiden home. Wow, that's bold. He was already breaking, but now the right Sugu has to do something. He needs a bunch of stuff to stop it. Oh. Okay, Tattooed Wanderer comes down. It's still breaking. He really is saving this. Oh, wow. Assassination onto the Tattooed Wanderer. No more Void Fisting. Oh. Goodness me. A second Tattooed Wanderer. Okay. Just throw stuff at the problem. Alright, so he's still breaking. There's still more cards that need to be spent from the Dragon player. Is he going to use the duel? A second Void Fist. That's all 3 Void Fists. And we do see, oh, a ready for battle and then favorable ground right back in. Here we go. Still breaking. And now, Raitsugo duels the Ambusher. And everything in my being just tells me that there's going to be another cavalry source right here. And there it is. There it is. Brings in the regulars and the youth. And Raitsugo can't kill off the regulars. And a Shrine Maiden. What does he see? Hurricane Punch against the wave and Fine Katana. So he can punch. He can gain 2 more skill and draw 1 more card. That's all punches, all Void Fists. And that's it. Unicorn player prevails. Beats up the Dragon player on the Stronghold by basically removing the defense. Wow. Yeah, it was really smart of the Dragon player to just hold that Raitsuga duel. But at some point it was just, alright, I need to duel now to not die. And then instantly the cavalry surf just came in. It was honestly really telegraphed the way the Yurt gave fate to both players and stuff like that. So we basically knew he had the cavalry serves, and the Dragon player knew that as well. But he just ran out of stuff to defend with. I was Unicorn, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so I think this ties up the game of Hungapore versus Spain to 3-3. I'm actually gonna head over to the bracket and update this. And see what we can see. I don't know if all the games have been reported or not. So this was between SorryKidO and Akuma. Apparently this bracket is really slow to update right now for me. Alright, here we go. Yeah, this actually ties up Hungapore versus Spain to 3-3. Wow. That's a really close matchup then between Hungapore and Spain. Who's left? I'm gonna have a quick peek again. It's the Lion versus Scorpion matchup that's going to be the decider in Hungapore versus Spain. And I know Linath doesn't even really like this Lion deck. He has said so much to me. I mean, he did beat me up, but he also said that he felt the deck was really wonky. So I think it does have a pretty good matchup against Scorpion. I'm just gonna have a quick look at. And it's a City of the Open Hand Scorpion Dishonor. I think it has a pretty good matchup against that deck. As much as Lion can have a good matchup against anything at this point, but I think there's definitely a possibility there for Lina to win it for Hungapore. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you to the guys that followed. I'm going to cut the stream now, and I think there's a bunch more games going on. I think Mind's Desire is streaming one. I might raid him if that's the case. Can anyone perhaps tell me if this is true? Hang on. We do have Dirty DD Deeds streaming a game. I am going to raid him. So if you just wanna watch another game right now, I'm gonna raid another stream. Hang on. Make sure I spelled it correctly in the chat. Yeah, that should be it. All right, let's go.